What's up? Baby Orange Show. This is my first video, and we're gonna be doing some stuff. You go for a wash point? Yeah, that's my good boy. So we stopped by AutoZone. We grabbed some oil, we grabbed some filters, and we're gonna do some maintenance on this car. And I'm gonna show you which car exactly in just a second. Here he is. Today we're gonna be changing the oil on this 2003 Mercury Grand Marquis. I will be giving you lots of tips. You can use these tips on any vehicle, and I'm gonna show you what you're gonna need to do this. My lift's tied up right now, so I'm gonna do this driveway style. And I feel like that's the best way to do this, to show you how to do it. You can do it yourself. You gotta buy some equipment, you gotta buy some tools. You're going to need oil, obviously, to change your oil. I went to AutoZone. They had a deal with STP where you could buy the oil, the filter, and an air filter, an oil filter and an air filter, all for $26. It's a great deal. All together, it's all I'm gonna need for this car. I will need an extra quart, but I have another quart lying around, so I'm just going to put that in when the time comes. As for tools, a basic wrench set will go a long ways in your DIY future. To remove the oil filter, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can buy a cup set like this. It'll fit on the end of the filter, you bang it on, and then you put the ratchet on this hole, and you can spin it off like that. A lot of times, you can take them off by hand. So with many of the oil changes I've done, I haven't even needed any of this. But sometimes people will put them on with a wrench, put them on too tight. So then you need, a wrench like that, or a claw type like this, where as you tighten this up, the claws tighten around the filter, lock it up, and you can spin it up free. If it's accessible enough, you can even use a pair of big channel locks like this. Just crush it, turn it. There you go. You will be needing gloves for this because it's oil, it's dirty, it can get everywhere. Even the pros, they can get their fingers dirty and their hands dirty. Some good hand cleaner or even Dawn dish soap can clean any of your sleeves. Might get dirty. Sometimes the oil gets through the glove, so it's just good to have some hand cleaner. You're going to need a drain bucket. Do not empty them out into the street. That is illegal, and frankly you don't want it on the driveway. So get yourself a nice drain pan. This one has a nice area for the filter to drain out to. I'm going to show you how to properly drain your filter. A lot of people just throw them away, but there's actually a way to make sure you get all the oil out, so that way you're not getting oil all in your garbage. And you're going to need a jack and jack stands. Do not, under any circumstance, trust this jack with your life. These are known to fail, but if you keep them on a heavy load for a long time, especially if you have an older one, always use a jack stand. So lift it up with the jack and then set the vehicle on these jack stands. These are mechanical. These will not fail. You can put them up, as long as you have them up to the weight limit on it, these will not fail on you. Jack, it will fail on you. This jack in particular, if I leave a car jacked up overnight, then when I come in the morning, the car will be on the ground. These use hydraulic pressure, and there's two O-rings that keep that pressure in the car up. So you don't want to put your life on a jack stand. So let's go get this bad boy jacked up and start changing the oil. The first thing you want to do is pop open your hood. There's always a release. It's usually by the foot panel over here. Some American cars will be underneath the steering wheel. Sometimes it'll be underneath your footwell over here. Every vehicle's different. Just look around, you'll find it. You'll pop the hood there, and then there's a release lever. Sometimes it's right here in the center, sometimes it's out to the side, sometimes it's in the grill. On a Grand Marquis is right here. So you just kind of release this and you can lift the hood up. So what you would want to do is check what kind of oil your car has. If you already went and bought your oil and about your filter, and you told them what kind of vehicle you had, they will already tell you. Most oil caps will tell you. If not, this emission sticker will sometimes tell you too. If you look around in the emission sticker, this has some other nifty information, such as spark plug gap, what size engine your car has, it'll be right here. Some cars have your serpentine belt routing. So if it's there, go take a look at that. So the next thing we want to do is think about how you're going to jack this up. This is a rear-wheel drive vehicle. So when you're putting it in park, it's the rear wheels that's keeping the car from moving. So if this was a front-wheel drive vehicle and I jack up the front, the car can move. Either way, it's a good thing to put a piece of wood, or if you have an actual chalk block, put that there and set the parking brake if you're lifting up the front wheels. So now, right now we're underneath the vehicle. We are going to find a nice piece of frame to lift the vehicle up from. You can do it from the wheel control arm, the lower control arm, but I find it best to jack it up from the frame and just let the suspension just sag. So we're going to jack up one side, right where the control arm bolts to the frame, and then we're going to put a jack stand on the frame on the driver's side, and then jack the passenger side, put a jack stand on the passenger side on the frame. This is how we're going to set up this jack stand. Right here, this rusty piece of frame right here, that's what we're going to rest it on. Some cars have a pinch roll. It kind of looks like this, but a lot stronger. You can rest it on that because that's actually part of the unibody car. That's part of the frame. This car is kind of a land yacht, so it is more of a body on frame car. So get this set up as high as you can. I'm probably going to end up jacking up the vehicle a little bit more. This can give you a better idea on where I'm jacking it. It's the subframe right there. I'm jacking it right there. And I'm going to do so on the other side and lift it up too. You got to jack up some more. So make sure your ground is nice and clear. The jack stand is nice and level. It's not rocking a lot. Got a nice spot. Some decent metal for it to rest on. And just let it down. Make sure this arm, this race lever right here is all the way down. It's not stuck in between teeth. Get it up to a decent level. And just let it down. Another pro tip is to have a friend. Another piece of advice is to have a sheet of plastic or cardboard that you can lay on. Have an additional piece of cardboard underneath the drain pan can help, because sometimes it'll splatter a little bit. You don't want that stuff on the driveway. Alright, so now we're here underneath the car. We have a sheet of cardboard here and a drain pan. So this bolt right here is a drain bolt. Make sure that you're looking at the engine when you go to take this thing off. There are a lot of cars out there that have a drain pan for the transmission and a drain pan for the engine. So I want to make sure you're taking the right drain plug out, because they'll be right next to each other, especially on some Hondas. They'll be right next to each other and you'll accidentally drain your transmission, that will fill your engine with oil and have a really bad time. So we're going to take this bolt off. Most Fords, they like 15s and 13s for your bolt size. Here's my 15 wrench. This one's a 16. Must be an aftermarket bolt. Takes this bad boy on, and if it's too tight, what I like to do is grab a next wrench up, and what I do is I get it right in there, the box end right in there, right? And it gives me extra leverage. Now it just becomes a double long wrench. Gives you that extra leverage to loosen the bolt. So start dripping. Just one is. Shook it easier as you come out. Let me rest the camera down real quick. Usually they come loose after a couple, if you crack it loose. So, what you're going to want to do is take your drain pan. It's going to want to shoot in an arc. So this way. It's going to want to shoot this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to just let it go, and it's going to shoot out this way. And just try your best to aim the drain pan accordingly. So keep your pressure on the drain plug As you're doing it, keep turning until you feel it not be threaded anymore, and just pull her out. See how it arcs over that way? So don't have your drain pan directly underneath it, have it push out away from it where the drain plug's facing. This is another reason why we have the cardboard underneath, because any little drips from the gloves or the wrench or the drain pan gets caught. And just move your pan back this way accordingly. It's going to slowly start moving this way. This is your engine oil drain plug. On American vehicles, a lot of them, they have this rubber gasket right here. Make sure that's in good condition when you replace it. Also, make sure your threads are good. If your threads are bad, you gotta check your engine oil pan. Make sure those threads are good. If you pull this thing out and you see bits of metal coming out, usually not a good sign. Sometimes it's just the threads from the pan. In that case, you'll probably need to either helicoil it or you'll need to replace it. Or the engine pan, rather. If the threads on this are just bad, you can get away with just getting a drain plug from AutoZone or any auto parts store. But this one's good. I'm just going to put it right back, and I'm going to get to showing you how to remove the filter and how to install it. Alright, the engine oil is just about done draining. We already verified that the drain plug is good. Then go back in. And once you feel it gets snug, just try to get it like an 1/8 of a turn to a 1/4 of a turn more. And that'll be good. If you have a Cannon brake cleaner, it'll be great to spray that down just to get it clean, or you can just use a rag to wipe it down. The filter on this vehicle is right here. Kind of snuck in between the AC lines and the anti-sway bar here. Let's see if I can get this hand loose. That drain plug is pretty tight, so maybe not. So, just turn a little bit on me. I'm just going to go ahead and get this drain plug. It's only going to drain a little bit from here, so I'm not worried about it overflowing. The tricky part is going to be getting it out. Raider needs to chill. I'm going to take him to the dog park later. It's not going to drain nearly as much as the oil pan. Probably about 1/2 quart left in it. All you gotta do is just spin it off. If it's metal like that, all you gotta do is spin it off. There are some vehicles with cartridge filters where they're encased in their own plastic. You will need to get a socket to take that off. On a Toyota, they have their own special socket, and it's just worth it to get the special socket. You can get them at any auto parts store. This is our new filter. The old one's in there. This rubber seal you see on the filter, make sure you get a little bit of oil, whether it's new or old. Just get a little lubricated before you put it in and just screw it on. Hand tight is good enough. Some people will say to tighten it with a wrench. You do not have to. Just tighten it hand tight. Then the next guy, which will probably be you, will thank you for it. Alright, so the new filter is in. You just gotta hand tighten it. You may have noticed that it's a bit bigger than the original filter. As long as that gasket's the same size, it doesn't really matter. And as long as you give them the right vehicle, it should be alright. It should be alright. So now we have all this dirty oil dripping here. Either clean it with a rag, get some brake cleaner, clean that up. Brake cleaner pretty much cleans anything. So just go ahead and clean all that up. Just go crazy spraying it and wiping it down so you're not dripping oil in your driveway. Great, so now you did it. Now you got this big old jug of oil just sloshing around, waiting to get spilled all over your driveway. Awesome. What do you do with this now? Well, because I'm at a shop, I have a oil drain container here. Wherever you buy oil, they are required by law to take your old oil back. So if I was doing this on my driveway, I didn't have the drain, my 55-gallon drum for waste oil. What I would do is I'd fill the car up with my oil, and then I just get a funnel and just funnel it into here bring it back to the auto parts store and they'll take care of it at no cost to you. So I mentioned before how to properly dispose of the filter. What you'd want to do, get yourself a flat bladed screwdriver and a hammer and just put a hole right here on the top. And what that does is it takes all the extra oil that's trapped up here and it lets it flow out over time. You know, some people say, oh, you just leave it, you know, like that overnight and it'll be fine. It's not, because I've taken filters that have been sitting for over a month, cracked a hole in it, and I see oil coming out. So it's very important that you do that. You know, be good to the environment, be responsible, and with the magic of video editing, it's gonna look like this. Ta-da! So just a little hole like that. You can already see some oil coming out of it. This drain pan has a nice little peg you can put it in, so that way it drains out nicely, and you can just give it a couple hours while you're doing the rest of your work and let it drain. So the footage for filling the oil got corrupted, so I'm re-recording it later on a later date. All you really got to do is just take your cap off, your engine oil cap off, and then you just gotta fill it up with oil. Whatever parts store you get your oil filter and oil from, they will tell you how much oil your car takes. What I like to do is to go a half quart under that, drop the vehicle, and then start it up, check for leaks, and then recheck the level. And you check the level with this dipstick, which I'll show you in a few. Release these jack stands. All you gotta do is just lift this lever up after you jack up the vehicle again. So make sure you have the jack underneath the vehicle, lift it up a bit, and you release like that. And I found a center point in the frame where I can lift it up both sides at the same time. So I can do it in one shot. And this jack, all I gotta do is just twist the handle. She comes crashing down. Now the reason why you start up the vehicle is to fill up the filter. If you didn't start the vehicle, didn't check for leaks, and you just check the level is actually going to be higher than it actually is when you check it. On this vehicle, dipstick's right here. So get yourself a nice rag. My detailer has provided me with some of his dirtiest rags he's not going to reuse, so I reuse them sometimes. Also use some old t-shirts sometimes, or Scott shop towels. Those are freaking amazing, but I'm cheap, so let me in the camera right here. So let me get this in shot. So those two holes right there, that's where in between there is where you want the oil level to be. So go ahead, focus on you again. Put her in the hole. She'll fight you a little bit, but be diligent. Oil level is right here. You can see where it's kind of darker. The camera doesn't want to focus right now. It's being great. So you see where the oil stops? Right about there. That's okay, but you really want to put it towards the top of this grid. That looks like it's about a half quart low, which is what I expected since I, put it half quart less than what it should. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some more oil in it and recheck. All right, just add the last quart of oil. So we repeat the process. Take the dipstick out, wipe it, and check. Well, since I already wiped it, all we got to do is check. Right in between. That's pretty good. It's actually right towards the edge of those crosshatch kind of section grid there. That's pretty good right there. As long as it's in between those two dots, you're pretty good. Keep it on the upper level because, as your car goes through your miles, it'll get, it'll consume a little bit. It might leak a little bit. While you're down there, check for leaks. And that's pretty much all there is to it. When you go to a store, you can get yourself a sticker as well. Something I probably should have mentioned at the beginning of the video. get yourself a sticker, write it down, or write it down in a notebook, or whenever your last service was due. Add 3,000 to 5,000 miles to that, depending on what quality oil you get. If you get like a nice synthetic oil, you'll be good for like 10,000 miles, 15,000 miles, whatever they recommend. Go for that. So with that ado, it's time to take this boy to the dog park. Real quick, let's put this air filter in. And this car, all you gotta do is just these little tabs right here. Pick her up, slide her over this way, and pick her up, and there's the air filter. If you want to check your air filter to see if it's dirty, the best way to do it is to split apart the fins like this and see if there's dirt in between. Mine isn't that bad. I probably can go another 10,000 miles with it, but I bought the filter with the bundle with the oil, so I might as well put it in. See how clean that is? Replacing your air filter is a great way to keep your gas mileage up. It's very unadvised to run without an air filter because all that dirt that will sit in the bottom of this air box here will get sucked right into your engine, and it will cause major problems in your near future. So we just gotta set this in those tabs. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, but we will get it. Put it rest on top, flick it down. Most vehicles are like this, very simple to replace your air filter. Most don't need tools. Some might require a screwdriver or a Torx bit or a socket set, but some of the easier ones are like this.